Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the weekly update. I actually don't have too many updates for this week because I sort of just crashed and burned. I remember being busy with stuff. Don't really remember what I did with all my time. Like just teaching and surviving. Uh, as far as the app that I'm developing, I'm realizing that we won't be able to do a public release until after the August SAT. But but you can get early access to it if you're in the course. If you're in the course that I'm teaching, SAT reading, and writing, predict and match. You can look at details for the course in the description below. Yep. So, but the app is it's well on its way, and I'm kind of excited to use it. The first use case will be actually for tutoring. I just want to make sure that it works, front to back, make sure that it's all working smoothly. And with the way that technology is now, I mean, I'm very skeptical of. I don't want to rush the jump into AI, but with AI, with the way AI is developing, I can imagine the app being quite a game changer. So really excited about what we're doing with my team. So yeah, more updates on that, but nothing for public release before the August SAT. I guess that is the main. I guess that is the main update right now. If you are in my course, though, there's a good number of you guys now in the course for the August SAT. You will get early access to a sort of like not even I would even call it beta testing. I would call it more like alpha testing to sort of just experience it and um, and solve some practice tests. You'll be able to solve some practice tests in like a very alpha testing mode with my app. Oh, excuse me. Yep, so that's the update there. I guess there's another update on the TikTok side. I just burnt out. I tried to do TikTok during my commutes when I'm in the subway and during my lunch breaks, and I just could not. I could not hold it up. I just burnt out this week. I think this was my seventh week of teaching in the summer. So it was just physically, I'm just exhausted now. The weather has not been helping here in Seoul. It's just so hot and humid. Today it's finally a little nicer, but God, it was awful. So humid. I could barely survive. So, so seventh week of teaching, not the easiest. All right, guys. So if you have questions, come at me in the chat. I think I've given all the updates that I need to give. Uh, but if you're curious about anything I was just talking about, let me know. I'm looking at Jaden. Jaden, what is a realistic SAT score jump if you started at 1100 with minimal studying? I think the with minimal studying is talking about your start, right? You got the 1100 with minimal studying. I mean, the thing about the 1100 is, especially if you're not even used to the SAT format. I mean, a realistic score jump, you could jump quite a lot from 1100. So basically, the more that you can blame the 1100 on being a. Oh, no, there's two factors. Let me tell you the two factors that'll help you be more optimistic. Okay? The first factor is this: you simply are like the more you are simply unfamiliar with the question types. You just don't know what the questions are asking for, and you are trying to figure that out in real time while solving the test. Okay? That would deflate your first score. The second thing, the second factor is this: you are doing really, really well at school. Academic challenges, quizzes, exams, these are things that don't really daunt you. You're good with them. You are able to manage academic challenges well, like especially if you're strong at math as well, so that your logical reasoning, you have no limits on your logical reasoning. Like you don't have to be as extreme as you're like taking the Amy or whatever, but if your math is solid, uh, and academic challenges don't really put the fear of God in you, then yeah, with those two factors, you can expect quite a high jump. I wouldn't really nail it down to a single number because it's hard for me to know, but you could jump quite a lot from that first score. Conversely, I mean, if you need this spelled out, then uh, then I'll spell it out for you. But if you were actually quite familiar with the question types, because maybe you've taken the PSAT before and all that stuff, so it wasn't really just a question format issue. And also, if you do struggle academically, and you're not, tests have never really been your thing, then I wouldn't really, I would caution over optimism. You might need to take some time to actually bring that score up, and there might be, you might be lucky. You might only have to work on one or two things, but conversely, you might actually have to work on four or five or six or seven things. Like it just really depends on what your strengths and weaknesses are. If you let me know more specifically where you fall in that range, or what kinds of questions you struggled on, then I can help you more. But for now, that's I think the big takeaway. The big takeaway is how familiar were you with the question types and how strong are you academically outside the SAT. Meanwhile, while I'm sort of just waiting, let me oh, I forgot to set up my view here actually. So let me let me fix up my view. All right, so while I'm waiting for you guys to ask me more questions, I'm just gonna sort of go through Reddit. I don't know if anyone wants to see the. Why am I getting -1 on this? Wait, what the? Whatever. Uh, if anyone wants to see, no, you know what? I don't even want to mention. It's not even worth the breath. I'm gonna go into RSAT. Jaden is asking another question. I'll come back to you first since you're right here. What is the best way to study for it? You only have 2 tests you can take, August and September. All APs 3.8. Okay, solid. Let's see. First, I guess the main thing is how many Blue Book practice tests have you taken so far? So if you've not taken a lot of Blue Book practice tests yet, then my recommendation is to give me a sec, maybe like there's 3 weeks until the August SAT and then maybe 4 more weeks until the September SAT. And during the September SAT period, you're probably going to be back in school, right? So I would urge you to take this, wait, is it 7 practice tests now? Yeah, the 7 Blue Book practice tests and space them out by 1 week. So maybe even every Saturday morning so that it's just like the test day. And every Saturday morning, take 1 full practice test, okay, for the Blue Book, from the Blue Book. If you've already used up all the Blue Books, that advice no longer applies, and now you're going to have to find some substitution. I would say use the Blue Book sparingly if you've already used them. If you don't have 7 left, try to use them only when you are sure that your score must have improved, because you can feel the improvements in your body and your brain. Like you feel like you know exactly what you're doing, and then you believe that you're going to have a higher score. Then you use the Blue Book. For all other Saturday mornings, you use like non-official practice tests like ACE over here or or whatever. You use those for just the practice runs, but use the blue book when you really need when you have the belief that you're going to do better, because otherwise it's kind of a waste. It's kind of a waste. And in between, the best way to study is just to analyze your mistakes and try to find a pattern. Like try to find areas where you have where you're lacking knowledge, also known as knowledge gaps. So if you are lacking some grammar knowledge, then go study up on the grammar knowledge on Monday through Friday, right? And if you're lacking on some techniques, then practice some techniques Monday to Friday and try to get yourself, like before every Saturday, just try to get yourself in a place where you can perform exactly the same as last week, except with these improvements on top, okay? You want to do better every week. So you want to keep everything the same, except with the improvements on top. And that's kind of the mentality you should go into it. And then there's the tools, like the study tools that people talk about with like the error logs and all that stuff. You can add those on top. But I think fundamentally, psychologically, the most important thing is not like what little activities you do. Okay, the activities you do is kind of secondary. The principal thing is that do you have a practice test you're looking forward to? And are you looking forward to it because you feel in your gut that you will do better? And the tools that help you believe in yourself more, right? Whether it's like error logs or Khan Academy or AC or whatever, right? Whatever technique, whatever study method you're using to make that belief happen, the whole purpose of that study technique or that tip or whatever is to make that belief happen, to make you believe that you are going to do better on that Saturday SAT. Everything else, is kind of up for grabs. Okay, so if you try using Khan Academy, it's not working for you, even though it worked for 9 out of 10 other people, maybe you're just 1 out of 10. It's fine. Switch over to something else. But do whatever it is that makes you believe in yourself more, that you will get a higher score on that as Saturday SAT, that practice test. And again, I've already kind of clarified this earlier, but I will just state it explicitly. I am specifically talking about the practice test that you do every Saturday, not the August SAT 3 weeks from now or the September SAT 7 weeks from now. All right, so I'm seeing some other questions. Josh, hey Joshua, Drizzly, do I think Blue Book tests are easy compared to the real test? ACE questions, harder, just lost. I haven't seen ACE questions. Now, if you actually, if you don't mind sharing a screenshot in the Discord server, you could just join general and share a screenshot. Here, I'll show you general. So this is general. If you share a screenshot here, I can tell you, I can tell you more specifically my feedback on the ACE questions. Excuse me, I'm getting hiccups. There's 2 reasons why a practice test might be harder. One is they are following the College Board patterns. Okay? They are using the College Board patterns, but they make the passages longer or use more difficult vocabulary or more complex syntax, okay? But they're still following the College Board patterns. That would be a good challenge, okay? Those practice tests, they're following the College Board patterns, but they are just using other methods to make it slightly harder. That would be fine, all right? Now, flip side. The other way to make a practice test harder is to have bad patterns. It's crazy how easy it is to gaslight. As somebody who scores a very high score, it's very easy for me to gaslight a 600 scorer by showing them a passage and showing them four answer choices, and then getting them to choose any one of those answer choices, and then insisting it has to be B. Okay, because you believe, and you know what? Maybe I'm not even an 800 scorer. Maybe I'm just somebody who has a reputation as an 800 scorer, right? Or like as a tutor. It's so easy to gaslight you by just insisting that B is right because of this is the reason, and this is the reason, and this is the reason, this is the reason. But the thing is, a lot of practice tests, the questions are not clean. They don't follow the right patterns. So if you were actually to flip the script on me, and instead now you, as like the 600 scorer, were to show me the 800 scorer, the same question, right? I would look at it and be like, wait, what's the answer? Like, is B the answer? I feel like they're going for B because of this and this and this, but it's like not clear, right? And I could tell you that like this is just an unclean question. It's like not worthy of the College Board patterns. So it's hard to know what the right answer is. So that is an invalid kind of difficulty, right? It's hard because it's unclear, not hard because it's hard. It's genuinely harder. That's the main issue a lot of times with practice tests is that third-party practice test makers, why do they need to do the hard work of writing valid questions when they can just gaslight you? It's just so much easier to gaslight you. It's just like, oh yeah, no, it's B because of this reason and this reason and this reason. If you don't know if it's B, then you're dumb. You're just, like I could just say that and then you just have to kind of deal with it, And it is, I don't know. It's a multi-decade scam, to be honest. It's just awful. So I will look at that question in a second. But let me make sure I'm not missing anyone really quickly. Okay. Have I seen the website Blue Book Plus? Oh. I'm not gonna look at the entire website right now. I'm just gonna look at if you bring it to the Discord server, I'll talk about what I see. But yeah, I mean. Judging by the name Blue Book Plus, I'm already very skeptical. Because all that tells me is that these people are opportunists, right? Blue Book, okay, SEO. I can do search engine optimization. I'm gonna jump. I do not get educator vibes. When the website is called Blue Book Plus, I get the vibes of a 18-year-old high school student who's about to graduate, or maybe just graduated. They know a little bit of technology. They're like SEO opportunity. AI, I don't even have to write the questions myself. Let me just plug it in. I don't get educator vibes. They don't really genuinely care about your outcomes. They just want you to sign up for their website. Okay, good for them. They're amazing at marketing. Good for them. They're amazing at engineering. Fine. But the educational experience, is it actually going to make you better at English? I don't know. I get the vibe that it's not. Now, I am happy to be proven wrong, but right now I do have some other questions here. All right, let's look. Are these clean questions? My first question to myself is if this is clean at all. Now, the first thing I'm immediately noticing is that the language is a little harder, okay, but not shockingly harder. I see words and sentence structures that are not shockingly harder. So far, the passage is not crazy. Here we go. 1884, Three Musketeers, D'Artagnan, how do you pronounce that name? Anyway, D, I'll call him D, fixed his haughty eye. I should know how to pronounce his name because I watched the movie like 2 decades ago, like a long time ago. But anyway, D'Artagnan, D fixed his eye upon the stranger, perceived the man of from 40 to 45 years of age, with eyes, complexion, nose, mustache, dressed in a doublet, hose, A's, ornaments, through which his shirt appeared, without any other ornaments than the customary. So pretty basic looking, older man. The stranger is not too special yet, and we are being arrogantly assessing this guy. This doublet and hose were creased like traveling clothes. Okay, so this is providing a detail about the clothes over here, the doublet and hose. For a long time packed in a portmanteau. Portmanteau is a suitcase. D made all these remarks with the rapidity of an observer with its great influence over future life. Okay, so this is just a detail of about his clothes, and this actually should be an easy question to show that. What? It cannot be. Oh, this time the new increased. Jesus. Oh my God. Okay, now. Do you know what the evidence is for dog? It is ridiculous. This is the though new part. They're literally taking which choice best describes the purpose of the underlying portion. Dude, oh my God. If you wanted this to be correct, okay, this is not a good question. They would have had to underline though new, okay? But they underlined the entire sentence. Because they underlined the entire sentence, they cannot say, wait, and even that's wrong. What the hell? Oh, no, okay, I see what they're going for. My bad. I'm kind of rushing my thought process, but I see what they're going for. They're going for long time packed in a portmanteau. You know, it's funny. It's funny because this is not... Okay, now that I reread it a little more slowly, I'm not rushing. I think I let my biases kind of override my thoughts here. This is actually... It's awkward. I wouldn't consider this exactly College Board pattern, but I also don't think it's totally invalid either. The implication here that he recently arrived in the area is defensible from creased like clothes packed for a long time in a portmanteau. Okay, that whole part supports D. It's just that it feels kind of mean because it really is drawing on the inference part without really respecting this question type, which is usually about... So the question type is about how to take this sentence and relate it to the other parts of the passage. But really, this is just an inference question. So it's not wrong. It's not wrong, but it's tricking you because it's using kind of the wrong question format. If they wanted to stick with this question format, but it is awkward for them to do this, but I guess they could have made it cleaner if they wrote it, if they drew the underline from like to portmanteau. However, it's also true that the College Board does sometimes do it like this. It's just that when they do it like this, they won't lean so hard into the inference here. I don't know. I would give this kind of it's worth learning from, but I'm kind of afraid that you're going to get too paranoid about these question types. It's just not the stereotypical question type. So if this is repeated, then you're going to learn the wrong habit, because you should learn the default first, and then you can kind of go into the sort of trickier versions of the default afterwards. But I hope this is not the default for this website. But that said, it is still a valid question, that one. Let me look at this. Okay, this is just a rewrite of this is a rewrite of a College Board question. Okay, plants are known for for their ability to thrive in a variety of environments. In the College Board question, I think it's something about microbes or something. But certain extreme conditions pose challenges. Desert flora, surprised to find areas where no vegetation seems to be growing despite the presence of sunlight. Okay. The reason this is a little weird is because when you take microbes and change the topic to plants, it's suddenly kind of like a very dumb claim, but whatever. This passage is kind of dumb now, whereas at least the original passage was less dumb. It was not dumb, but logically, I see the pattern. So let's move on. Plants are resilient, wide range, unlikely that in any area will be completely devoid. Okay, okay. They would agree that it's difficult. They would agree that it's harsh. They would agree that it's difficult and harsh. Okay, most plants are unable to thrive in the soil condition that this. Okay. I mean, D is fine. Plants are likely difficult to detect. Okay, this is not valid for text one. So at least it's clean. It's clean. The passage is a little dumb on this one, but the question's clean, and it follows the College Board patterns. It's just that, yeah, it's just. Actually, this one is fine, totally fine. It is A. They're being a little silly, but it definitely is A. If you wanted it to be C, you should say a a marine zoologist, a marine zoologist. Okay, this one you can go with, yeah, C. Okay. Uh, I mean, nothing's wrong here. Let me see. Soviet astronaut Valentin VT is supposed to describe the first and only woman to conduct a solo flight in space. It's the only way the sentence can proceed. If you went with, you know, there's one other answer choice that could be correct, which doesn't exist, but another answer choice that could be correct is if you remove the comma here, and that would still be correct. But it would just be an awkward sentence. Like it'd be grammatically defensible, but it would be a very awkward sentence. Yeah, so C is actually the best sentence, so no problems here. Yeah, no problems here. Um, this is just, you know, if you choose B, that's definitely just a run on. That's a comma splice. And math, no comments here because I'm not a math tutor. So for now, I'll just say this. Acely seems to be fairly clean overall from the questions that I've seen so far. So hey, good job, Acely. Actually, yeah, maybe I'll even like maybe I'll even start trying. Maybe I'll try out their practice tests because it seems fairly clean. But part of the reason it's kind of cleaner is because they're just reusing College Board questions and just rewriting them with like different nouns, different topics. So it makes it easier that way. But you know, I mean, hey, as long as the questions are clean, then you can still learn from them. Cause let's see. All right, I'm seeing some. Let me just catch up on chat really quickly. What are patterns I see with inference questions and function questions? I mean, it's a really broad question, and that would be like a sort of a lecture, but the pattern with inference question, okay, yeah, dude, like I don't know how good you are at SAT reading writing, and that requires me to know your level to even answer. And actually, that would require like at least 20 minutes to talk about. Like, it's just because I'd have to show you what the patterns are. The patterns are, they're logically valid, dude, and they require you to understand which characters, quote unquote characters, in the passage are relevant, and you need to figure out what the relationship between the characters are, and you also need to be able to identify all the transitions in the passage so that you see how the passage kind of gets. Kind of builds towards a point. Black Book SAT said, I have no idea what Drizzly Milk's last question is saying. I just don't know what that's saying. So, not too sure. But here, let me look at Sados's question. I mean, this doesn't really. Oh God, I mean, this is almost certainly copyright issues, from what I can tell. Yeah. Almost. Oh yeah, copyright issues. I actually can't. Sorry, dude. Yeah. I can't talk about this in in the channel. Yeah. So. No, yeah, copyright issues there. That's from what I can tell. I'm not even gonna mention it anymore. Copyright issues. So that's it for me there. But don't be sorry. It's an honest mistake. You know, when you see resources, I'm glad that you're trying to help and you're trying to share resources. When you see resources, I'm also glad that you trust me to evaluate the resources for you, but I just can't talk about copyrighted materials like that. So that's that. And let's move on to Nitro's question. Now, I will make a brief side rant. During the era of the paper SAT, because of California and New York state laws, the College Board was forced to release tests. So the College Board had to release a certain number of tests every year, so that I forgot what the name of the law, or I forgot what the name of the law was, but the whole idea was for the tests to be transparent, so that we know that when they are testing us on our reading and writing and math abilities, that independent observers can go and see the tests and, criticize them if needed. Right now with the digital SAT, they are not forced to release their tests. Very annoying. So that really incentivizes people to go and find these tests on their own. And when people do find these tests on their own, it advantages them so much more compared to the past. Because in the past, the tests were released anyway, right? But now, only the people who go out of their way to find the tests get the advantage, and anyone else who's kind of trying to, do it the legit way, they're just sort of in the dark. What the hell, College Board? Just release the tests, right? I understand you might not want to release the test every single administration because you have 7 administrations per year or whatever, but release like 3 of them at least, right? And make new questions. They keep recycling the same question. It's insane. It's like, God, this regime is only advantaging bad behavior. And like, what the hell? Like, you guys really should be releasing the tests. And that way I can, stream the tests and show people what the valid patterns are instead of having to, rely on, shitty third-party solutions. I just, release the tests, College Board. Release the tests, College Board. Anyway, rant aside, let's go back to Nitro's question. Right now, I'm focusing on evaluating whether this question is clean or not. And I just realized I'm actually over time. I need to go off to an appointment soon, so this will be probably the last question. If you have any other quick questions I can quickly answer, maybe I'll quickly answer anything that you say in chat, but this is the last question that I'll actually sit down and read for. One difficulty when studying whether meditation changes brain structure is a challenge of baselines. We must compare brain scans of people who meditate. Bro. Yes, they can. Okay. This falls into the same pattern as what happened? This one? Okay. They're literally copying another existing College Board question, but they're just writing it in they're just replacing some of the nouns. So here, oh my god. For here, instead of so the original question is not about meditation, it's about elected officials. But for elected officials, this last sentence is actually valid, since researchers cannot control who chooses to become elected. That is a valid sentence. You know what's not a valid sentence? Since researchers cannot control who chooses to begin meditation. Yes, they can. Like, yes, they can. You just get them to sign up for the experiment and then make sure that they're actually doing meditation. And now you separate. Okay. The passage is dumb AF. Like, this is just a dumb passage because they took an existing College Board passage and then they just replaced a random word and they changed it to meditation instead of elected officials. The logic is going to be clean, but the passage doesn't make sense anymore, right? Because they just like rewrote it in the dumbest possible way. So the correct answer is still going to be the correct answer. Let me see. I mean, if this passage is correct, then D is correct. But now, this is weird because anyone who has a decent science brain is actually going to struggle on this. They're going to be like, what? They're going to choose D and they're going to be like, what? Why would it be challenging? Like, it doesn't make sense with the common sense of somebody who knows how to structure a social science experiment. It just does not make sense. So really, yeah, but like A is clearly wrong because brain imaging data, so you can still eliminate A and C multiple ways, and you should still eliminate, because the multiple ways here doesn't make any, like that would make it very off topic because we don't want multiple ways, we want to identify the one way. No, this is also off topic, beginners versus many years, that's a comparison that's not in the passage. So the correct answer is still correct, and the incorrect answers are still incorrect. So that part is at least clean. It's clean, but it's clean in like a sort of dumb way because this passage doesn't make any sense. With the development of new technologies that use natural resources more efficiently, the overall consumption of those resources might be expected to decrease. Observed improvements in efficiency often correlate negative with... my brain is turned off. Expected to decrease. Negatively with conservation. What the hell is conservation in this case? A resource conservation. Okay, I see. Oh, I can tell. I'm just tired. Right now, I'm just trying to figure out what the hell. So I'm not even really looking at the answer choices. I'm actually just sort of trying to figure out what this passage is trying to say. But I feel like this is a valid passage, but my brain is just slow right now. So don't assume that I'm criticizing the passage yet. I'm just slowly reading because I'm dumb right now. If you use natural resources more efficiently, okay, the consumption of those resources, okay. So then improvements in efficiency, which, okay, is probably the natural resource efficiency, correlate negative with resource conservation, which is a new topic. Ah, okay. Resource conservation is the opposite of consumption, which is such a okay, but it's something that I could see the College Board doing. So I don't know who. Yeah, I don't know who wrote this, but it seems. Wait, is this a College Board question? It looks College Boardy. But anyway, this is something that I can see the College Board doing. This conservation is the opposite of the consumption, so you have to say comma semicolon, okay, and then efficiency gains. Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah. So it's definitely not B because that would just probably be a fragment. Let me just double check. Though efficiency gains may increase demand to the extent that no, yeah. This is just a fragment, so you still need the. You should have been stuck between. Oh, what? This is run on comma. This is comma spice and comma. Okay. Actually, only B can even only C can even grammatically be correct. So this is a clean question. And why is this question incorrect? If you that will require me to do a little bit more explanation, but really, learn run-ons, comma splices, and fragments, and you should see that the right side of this blank is actually an independent clause. So you need to separate that independent clause somehow. And this semicolon is the only thing that works because this though, with his comma in front, this though now means however. If that's still not clear, then it means that your reading is failing you. You need to actually read and figure out what's happening with the howevers. This though means however, so try to figure out why the however would make sense by rereading the passage. Okay. If you need further explanation, chat about it in the Discord server, and then I'll swing back to it. But I am very late now. I need to move on to my next appointment. All right, thanks, guys, for joining the stream. I can tell I'm actually quite tired now. But hopefully I was able to help you, even though my brain wasn't processing very quickly. And I guess I'll see you in the next stream. If you are interested in learning techniques for SAT reading and writing that are scalable with not just the SAT, but like for even harder questions in the future, for harder tests in the future, and just reading in general, I teach how to predict and match the correct answers. It's something that you can use, and a lot of students have used to improve their scores to get into the 700 range. So. If you're curious about the course, you can look at the description down here. You can look at the description down here to learn more about the course itself. You'll be navigated to this website. This is the website you want to see. Okay? This is the website you want to see. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next stream. Good luck with your studies. Until next time, keep on learning, keep on growing. Peace.